How are you all doing? Welcome to Brain Up. As I have promised in my introductory video, we are going to start the first chapter of science, which is chemical reactions and equations. So, without any delay, let's get started. So, before going into the chapter, let's look at the subtopics of the chapter. The first subtopic is what are chemical reactions and equations? What do you mean by chemical reaction? What is a chemical equation? We are going to learn. The next one is writing a chemical equation. After learning the definition of chemical reactions and equations, we are going to write the chemical equation. We are going to learn how to write a chemical equation. The third one will be balancing a chemical equation. After writing this chemical equation, we are going to learn how to balance the chemical equation. Okay. So the fourth one will be types of chemical reactions. So after balancing this chemical equation, we are going to learn which type of chemical reaction it will be. So there are many types of chemical reactions and we are going to learn a few of them in this chapter. So last but not the least, the last subtopic will be effects of oxidation and reduction reactions in daily life. So oxidation and reduction are also two types of chemical reactions which have a greater significance in our daily life. So they have a separate subtopic in this chapter. So without further delay, let's get into the chapter with the first subtopic, what are chemical reactions and equations. So, what is really a chemical reaction? What do you mean by chemical reaction? Let us understand what is a chemical reaction with some daily life situations. Okay, so first I am taking a glass of milk. So here comes the glass of milk and I am putting it under sun. Okay, so I am leaving the setup like this for an hour and I am going to observe this glass after an hour. What is happening in the glass? What is happening to the milk in the glass? Just observe it. Write this at your home. Okay, don't tell your mother, she will beat you. Okay, so the next one will be we are taking an iron tawa or a pan or an iron nail and keeping it in a humid atmosphere. Humid atmosphere means where there is a high level of water vapor content in the atmosphere. You will find humid atmospheres in the coastal regions especially. So you may not try this daily life situation. Just imagine it. What will happen if you keep this nail in the humid atmosphere? What will happen to the nail? Will it be the same? Just think about it. Okay, the third example is grapes get fermented. You go to the bazaar, you buy some grapes, bring it to your home and keep it for a few days. You are not eating it, you are leaving it for many days. What will you observe? You will observe that the grapes have become very soft, they have become brown in color, so they are getting fermented. Why are they getting fermented? Okay, the next example is food gets digested into our body. So here is our stomach. This is the stomach of a boy who has eaten a lot of food. Okay, so basically when you have learned the topic of digestive system in your previous chapters, right? What happens when you eat food? It enters your stomach and it combines with bile juice and other gastric juices and gets digested. So when these combine with food, what is happening to the food? It's releasing energy. How is it is releasing energy? Similarly, when we respire, see, when we are taking in oxygen, the oxygen reacts with sugar and gives us energy. So what is happening in this combination of oxygen and sugar. Energy is released. How is energy released here? So in all these daily situations, one thing is common. What's that one thing? Tell me. The common thing is that the object, any object that you have kept to expose to something is not the same after some time. See, when I have taken the glass of milk and kept it under the sunlight, what is happening to the milk? The milk is getting spoiled. It's not the same. It's not the milk. If you drink that milk, your stomach will get upset, right? So similarly, when we are eating food, food is reacting with what? Gastric juices and bile juices and vagera vagera. So what is happening to the food? It's getting simpler. It's giving us energy. So it's not the same food that you have eaten. It has changed its form. It may have become like paste, right, in your stomach. Similarly, when we respire, the oxygen reacts with the food that you have just now eaten and gives you energy. So how is that happening? So here we can see that there is a change in the nature, change in the identity of the substance that we have exposed to something. So you might have learned what is a physical change and what is a chemical change in your previous classes. So we observe chemical changes here in these situations, right? In all the above given situations, we are observing some physical and chemical change. When these changes occur, we can say that a chemical reaction has taken place. Okay, this is the basic funda behind the chemical reaction. So some of you might have been wondering what is a chemical reaction. Still some people might not have understand what is chemical reaction. So in order to understand what is a chemical reaction more deeply, let us look at some activities from your NCERT. See, here I have taken a activity, the first activity of your chapter from the NCERT, which says that you have to take a magnesium ribbon, rub it against a sandpaper in order to clean that. If it has any impurities, they get cleaned if you rub with a sandpaper, and you have to burn it. How you are going to burn it? Not with a matchstick or a lighter. You have to take a Bunsen burner. Bunsen burner, you might have heard what is Bunsen burner. You generally find it in your science lab, but since your schools are closed due to COVID, due to lockdown, you won't be able to access this. So just imagine this activity in your mind. Just think what will happen if you do so. What will happen if you take this setup? Okay, now we are burning this magnesium ribbon on a Bunsen burner. So when you burn this magnesium ribbon with the Bunsen burner, white ash starts falling. So we have to collect this white powder in a watch glass. So when you are holding this magnesium ribbon, don't forget to hold it with a pair of tongs. Don't hold it with your hand. Okay, your hand might get burned. Okay. So what are you observing here? You are burning a ribbon, right? The ribbon is turning into white powder. What is happening again here? Just think, okay? Just think and tell me what is really happening. So here the magnesium ribbon burns with a dazzling white flame. It gives a very bright white colored flame when you burn it in the presence of flame. And the ribbon changes into white powder. This powder is nothing but your magnesium oxide. Magnesium oxide, you might be knowing, it contains Magnesium and oxygen. Magnesium and oxygen together are called magnesium oxide. Now some of you might be thinking that from where did oxygen come? No. How did oxygen combine with magnesium? So magnesium, when you are burning the magnesium ribbon on the flame, oxygen is coming into the play, right? Magnesium is reacting with oxygen because there is air around us. Air contains oxygen, so this oxygen is reacting with magnesium and forming white powder, which is magnesium oxide. So what is happening again here? There is a change in the state of the magnesium ribbon. It's changing its state. It was a ribbon first, now it has become white powder. So what is again happening? Chemical reaction is happening, right? As I told you, if there is a change in its state, we can say that there is a chemical reaction happening, right? Similarly, the next two activities also tell us the same thing, that there is a chemical reaction happening because there is a change in the state of the initial substance that we have taken in the activities. So from these three activities, what can we infer? What can we infer from these three activities? We can infer that if there is a change in state, if there is a change in color, or if there is evolution of gas, or there is change in temperature in the initial setup of the substance, then we can say that it is undergoing a chemical reaction. These are the four factors with which we can say that there is a chemical reaction occurring or happening or taking place. So as we observe the changes around us, we can say that there are very many chemical reactions taking place around us. We are not aware of many reactions which are happening. We are aware of only a few chemical reactions. Okay, so now we are going to study what is a chemical equation now. We have learned what is a chemical reaction till now. What is a chemical equation now? See, you recollect the activity 1.1 where we have taken a magnesium ribbon and burned it in oxygen. It is converted into magnesium oxide. This is the description of the reaction happening, chemical reaction happening. When the magnesium ribbon is burned in the presence of oxygen, it gets converted to magnesium oxide. This is a description. This is the reaction that is happening. So this description is very long. It's quite long. We can't repeatedly say the same sentence to tell that this reaction is happening everywhere, right? We need a shorter way to tell it. We need a simpler way to tell this reaction, a faster way, a simpler way to tell this reaction, right? So in order to do this, we have to use chemical equations. Chemical equations come into play. So this description of the chemical reaction happening can be written in a shorter form. What is that shorter form? The shorter form is chemical equation. Before learning what is a chemical equation, how to write the chemical equation, we will see the word equation of this chemical reaction. So this is the word equation of the above reaction happening. Magnesium plus oxygen, arrow, magnesium oxide. So here we can see that magnesium is adding with oxygen, which is forming magnesium oxide. So we can see that this is even simpler than the above description given. You have read the first line, right? When a magnesium ribbon is burned in oxygen, it gets converted. Isn't it simpler than this? We can just see that magnesium plus oxygen is giving rise to magnesium oxide, which is simpler. This is simpler. The second one is simpler, right? So this is called a word equation. We are writing their names and we are writing a plus in between the two initial substances, and we are showing the formation of product with an arrow. So the substances that undergo chemical change in the reaction magnesium and oxygen are called reactants. Why we are telling them reactants? Why we are calling them reactants? Why not other name? Because they are undergoing chemical reaction. They are about to participate in a chemical reaction, right? So the participants can be called as the reactants. The participants of a chemical reaction can be called as reactants. So the new substance which is formed after the reaction of these reactants, after the combining of these reactants, is known as the product. The product is after the arrow. So a word equation shows change of reactants to product through a arrow placed between them. See the red arrow that I have placed here, it is representing that these following reactants, magnesium and oxygen, after combining are forming magnesium oxide. The reactants are written on the left hand side of the arrow. Always the reactants are written on the left hand side of the arrow. We don't write it on the right hand side. Right hand side is for the products, okay? And we write a plus between the two reactants. There are situations where there are more than two reactants also. So we write a plus after each reactant, which shows that these all reactants are combining together, and further the arrow represents that after combination of these reactants we are getting the following product, which is magnesium oxide. So this is basically what a word equation is. Oh, now you might have understood what is a chemical reaction in a better way, in a simpler way, right? But there is even a shorter way to write this chemical reaction. How are we going to write it? Let's see. So we are going to now learn how we are going to write a chemical equation in a shorter form. Is there any other shorter way for representing chemical equations? Now see, we can observe that the word equation is also a bit complicated. We have to remember those spellings of the reactants that we have taken. We have to remember the spelling of the word of the product that is forming. Instead of writing the whole word of the reactants and products, is there any other simpler way to write the chemical reaction? Yes, there it is. Chemical equation is the shorter way. A chemical equation represents a chemical reaction, but in a shorter way. It explains a chemical reaction in a simpler, shorter manner. You might recall the chemical formulas of the chemical atoms that we have in this universe. You have seen the periodic table of the chemical atoms, right? Now we are going to use this formula here. Now recollect the chemical formula of magnesium, oxygen and magnesium oxide. What are they? Magnesium. Magnesium can be represented as Mg, capital M and small g. Yes. Oxygen can be represented as O, and magnesium oxide is basically combination of magnesium and oxygen. So we write MgO for magnesium oxide. Simple, finished. You don't need to write those long words for magnesium, oxygen and magnesium oxide. Now we can see in this blue colored equation, we have used the chemical formula and written the same word equation into a chemical equation. Mg plus O2 gives rise to MgO. Isn't it simpler than before? In the starting, what we were writing? We were writing the whole description of the reaction. Magnesium ribbon is burned in oxygen. Then we wrote the word equation, which was quite simpler than the description but not the simplest. Then we wrote this chemical equation, which is the simplest of all, which is very easy to understand, right? So this is what a chemical equation is. Now we can see that there are numbers of magnesium and oxygens given. See here, there is a single magnesium, there is two atoms of oxygen on the left hand side. Yes, let's compare the number of these atoms on both the sides of the arrows. Let's see. On the left hand side, as I said, there is a single magnesium. There are two oxygen atoms. Okay, fine. Let's see on the right hand side. On the right hand side, there is a single magnesium. Okay, the magnesiums on both the sides are equal. But look at the oxygen. Are the number of oxygen atoms same on both the sides? No. Why? Because we are having two oxygen atoms on left hand side but only a single oxygen on the right hand side. So what do we have to do now? They are not equal on both the sides. The number of atoms of oxygen are not equal on both the sides. What do we have to do now? We need to balance the equation. Balancing the equation, the next topic which we are going to learn is balancing the equation. How are we going to balance this equation? We are going to see that in our next part of the chapter. So till now, what have we learned? We have learned what is a chemical equation, what is a chemical reaction, what its definition is, what is the basic funda behind the chemical reaction, what are the factors that represent chemical reaction, how do we write a chemical reaction simpler in the form of chemical equation, right? And we have seen a few activities that show us how chemical reactions take place. So you just revise the subtopics again, you give a glance of your NCRT science textbook, and you will remember these topics very well if you read these subtopics again in your NCRT. Okay, till then, let's find it out how to balance the chemical equation in the next part of the chapter. Okay, so till then, bye bye. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe my videos and channel if you like them. And if you have any comments, suggestions and queries, please write down in the comment box below. Okay,